Hello everyone, I'm Cheryl Mendez Abarquez, the first reporter of the Group 1. Our topic is about the Republic Act 7160 that talks about the local government code of the Philippines. From Book 1, it tackles the general provisions, Title 1, basic principles, and the whole Chapter 1, it talks about the code, policy, and application. So the given topic is the title and the introductory section of a legal document called the Local Government of the Philippines. The code contains rules and guidelines on how local government should be organized, managed, and operated in the Philippines. In this section, we learn that the code consists of several books and titles. Specifically, Book 1 is about general provisions related to local government, which includes basic principles that will guide how local government operates. Chapter 1 within Book 1 provides an overview of what readers can expect from the code. So the first section tells us that this legislation has a formal name, Local Government of 1991. This means it was created as a law in 1991 by lawmakers in the Philippines with specific intentions on how it should be applied to governing bodies at a local level. So this topic serves as an introduction to help readers understand what they are about to read in more detail throughout other sections of this legal document. In Section 2, it is about the declaration of policy. This topic is discussing the policy of decentralization in the state, which means that the local government units will be given more power and resources to enable them to develop as self-reliant communities. The goal is for these local governments to become more effective partners in achieving national goals. So this process will start with the national government giving more power to local government units. The state also wants to ensure accountability of these local government units by instituting mechanisms such as recall, initiative, and referendum. These are ways for citizens to hold their leaders accountable if they are not doing what they promised or if there are issues that need attention. So, it is the policy of the state for all national agencies and offices to consult with appropriate local government units, non-governmental organizations, people's organizations, and other concerned sectors before implementing any projects or programs in their respective jurisdictions. This ensures that everyone has a say in decisions that affect them directly. So this policy aims to empower local communities by giving them a greater voice in decision-making processes while maintaining accountability through citizen participation. Section 3. The given topic is a heading that reads Section 3, Operative Principles of Decentralization. So this suggests that the topic will discuss the principles or rules that guide decentralization. Decentralization refers to the process of distributing power and decision-making from a central authority to local authorities or individuals. In other words, it involves giving more control and autonomy to lower levels of government or organizations. Operative principles are guidelines or rules that must be followed when implementing decentralization. So these principles ensures that decentralization is carried out effectively and efficiently. Examples of operative principles include transparency, accountability, participation, subsidiarity, equity, and efficiency. So transparency means being open about decisions made during the decentralization process. So accountability ensures that those responsible for making decisions are answerable for their actions. Participation means involving all stakeholders in decision-making processes. Then subsidiarity involves delegating responsibilities to the lowest level possible while still maintaining overall control by higher authorities if necessary. So ang equity, it ensures fairness and distribution of resources among different regions or groups within an organization. So efficiency focuses on achieving results with minimal resources. So in summary, Section 3 discusses the guiding principles of effective implementation of decentralization, which includes transparency, accountability, participation, subsidiarity, equity, and efficiency, among others. So the topic of Section 4, it is about the scope of application that refers to a particular section in a document or policy that outlines the extent or range to which it applies. So in other words, this section specifies the boundaries and limitations of the document's coverage. For example, we're talking about the company's code of conduct. Section 4 may explain which employees are subject to its rules and regulations, whether it only applies to full-time staff or also includes part-timers and contractors. It could also clarify any exemptions or special cases where certain provisions do not apply. So overall, understanding the scope of application help ensure that everyone affected by the document understand what is expected of them and how they should behave within its parameters. So the next is Section 5, Rules of Interpretation. Section 5 of a document or agreement outlines the guidelines for interpreting and understanding the language used in that document. It provides a set of rules to follow when there is a confusion or ambiguity in the topic. So these rules help ensure that everyone involved understands the same meaning from the words written in the document. For example, if two parties are trying to interpret a clause within an agreement, they would refer to Section 5 for guidance on how to understand it. The section may provide instructions such as considering the context surrounding the clause, looking at other parts of the agreement for clarification, or using common industry definitions. So Section 5 helps prevent misunderstanding and disputes by providing clear guidelines for interpreting language within a legal or formal document. That's the end of Chapter 1 that talks about the code, policy, and application. So we are now in Chapter 2. It is about the general powers and attributes of local government units. So we proceed to Section 6. It is about the authority to create local government units. So this passage is from a document that outlines the powers and abilities of local government units. Specifically, it discusses the authority that these units have when it comes to creating new local governments. So local government units are organizations that operate at a regional or municipal level, so providing services and making decisions for their communities. So this includes cities, towns, counties, or other similar entities. Section 6 of this document states that these local government units have the power to create new ones. So this means they can establish additional municipalities or regions within their jurisdictions if they see fit. So, however, without further context or information about specific laws and regulations governing these processes in different areas around the world, we cannot provide more detailed explanation beyond what has been given in this topic. So let's proceed to Section 7. Section 7 is about the creation and conversion. So this topic is discussing the guidelines for creating or converting a local government unit. So a local government unit can be created by establishing a new one, or it can be converted from one level to another. Example, from barangay to a municipality. So to do this, there are certain requirements that must be met. So the first requirement is income. The new or converted local government unit must have enough money to provide all necessary services and facilities for its population based on acceptable standards. So this means that the income should match the size of the population in order to provide what they need. So the other requirements is population. So this refers to the number of people living within the area where the local government unit will operate. So lastly, land area is also important. The land area should be contiguous unless it consists of 2 or more islands or it is separated by an independent local government unit. So, identified with technical descriptions and sufficient enough to provide basic services and facilities needed by its residents. So, before creating or converting a local government unit, there are certain criteria that need to be met in terms of income, population, and land area, which are verified through appropriate agencies before approval. So that's the rule of Section 7. So in Section 8 is about the division and merger. So this section, division and merger, is talking about the process of dividing or merging existing local government units. It says that any division or merger must follow the same requirements as creating a new local government unit. So these requirements are not specified in this topic, but it means that any changes to existing units must be done legally and properly according to established rules. So this ensures that the division or merger is fair and just for all parties involved. So the next is Section 9. Is about the abolition of local government units. So it talks about the conditions under which a local government unit can be abolished. A local government unit refers to a province, city, municipality, or barangay. So that is a small administrative division in the Philippines. If its income, population, or land area has been permanently reduced below the minimum standard set for its creation under Book 3 of this code, then it may be abolished. So this reduction must be certified by national agencies mentioned in Section 17 and reported to Congress or Sanggunian, which is the legislative body of a local government unit. If the ordinance is passed to abolish a local government unit, then it must be specified which other province, city, municipality, or barangay it will be incorporated into or merged with. So in simpler terms, if a region's resources are greatly diminished beyond what was expected when it was established as an administrative district according to certain criteria laid out in Book 3 of this code, such as having sufficient income and population size, then that region may no longer continue operating independently as before. So instead, it will have to merge with another nearby regions that meets their requirements so that they can pool the resources together and provide better services for their residents. So that is about Section 9. So let's proceed to Section 10. Section 10 is about the plebiscite requirements. Section 10 of the law states that any changes to the boundaries of local government units, such as creating new ones, merging them, or abolishing them, cannot take effect unless they are approved by a majority vote in a plebiscite. A plebiscite is like an election where people can vote yes or no on the proposed changes. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, will conduct the plebiscite within 120 days from when the law or ordinance takes effect. But this date could be changed if the law or ordinance specifies another date. So this means that before any significant changes are made to local government units, it must first be approved by voters through a plebiscite conduct by COMELEC. So, Section 11. It is about the transfer of local government site, offices, and facilities. So Section 11 is a part of some document or law that talks about how to choose and move local government buildings like offices, community centers, or other facilities used by the government. So this section likely gives guidelines or rules for how this process should work in order to make sure it's done fairly and efficiently. Without more context, it's hard to say exactly what these guidelines might be. So let's proceed to section 12. It's about the government centers. So this topic is about the establishment of government centers in provinces, cities, and municipalities. So these centers are meant to be places where different government offices, agencies, or branches are located together. So the idea is that having all these offices in one place will make it easier for people to access government services. So when deciding where to put a government center, local officials should consider existing facilities that could serve as a center. If new building need to be constructed for the center, the national or local government or government-owned corporations who are responsible for those offices will pay for them. So this section is saying that there should be designated places where people can go to access various government services by putting all the services in one location. It will hopefully make things more convenient and efficient for citizens who need help from their local or national governments. So the last section of my topic is about naming of local government units and public places, streets, and structures. This is from section 13. So section 13 is a part of a larger document or a law that talks about how local government units and public places, streets, and structures should be named. So this section outlines the rules for naming these things in order to avoid confusion and ensure consistency. So it may include guidelines on using certain words or phrases, honoring historical figures or events, or taking into account cultural significance. The purpose of this section is to help people easily identify where they are and navigate their way around their community. So that is my topic from section 1 to 13. I will turn over to the next reporter, Maricel Limas. Thank you, everyone.
Local Government of the Philippines, Section 14. It tackles here the outlines and commencement of a local government unit existence, beginning upon the election and qualification of its chief executive and a major of its Sangguniang members, unless the creating law or ordinance specifies another time. Section 15 emphasizes that each local government unit is distinct political and corporate entity empowered to exercise its authority in accordance with the law. It operates as both as a political subdivision of the national government and a corporate body representing its territory residents. Section 16 delineates the responsibilities and powers of local government units, which include exercising explicitly granted powers, those implied by these, and those necessary for efficient governance. These sections detailed various duties encompassing the promotion of general welfare. These involve cultural preservation, fostering health and safety, supporting ecological balance, enhancing scientific and technological development, improving public morals, and promoting economic prosperity and social justice, ensuring full employment, maintaining peace and order, and preserving the comfort of inhabitants within their respective jurisdiction. Section 17. Basic services and facilities. Responsibilities of LGUs or local government unit aim for self-reliance, existing their current powers and fulfilling duties vested in them. They also functions devolved from national agencies. They carry out tasks necessary for providing basic services and facilities efficiently. Then, the Section 18, power to generate and apply resources. Authority of LGU can establish organization to implement their plans, create revenue sources, impose taxes and charges for their exclusive use, gain a fair share of national taxes and benefits from local wealth development. They can handle property for public or productive purposes to ensure local development and participation in national goals. Section 19. Section 19 implements domain, local government powers. Local government units can also use eminent domain for public use or welfare upon payment or just compensation, subject to offering the owner for compensation. The LGU can take possession after filing expropriation proceedings and make a deposit of at least 15% of the market fair value in court. Then the final payment is based on the property fair market value at the time of the taking. Section 20. Reclassification of lands. Reclassification authorization or LGU can reclassify agricultural land based on economic feasibility or potential for other uses, subject to set limits and without affecting lands distributed under agrarian reform. Conservation of land use plans. LGU must continue to prepare land use plans enacted through zoning ordinances, considering requirements for food production, settlements, and industrial expansion. Section 21. Closure and opening of roads. Local government authority or LGU can permanently or temporarily close or open local roads, alleys, parks, or squares through ordinances, ensuring public safety. National or local roads can be temporarily closed for a specific event or public works. Section 22. Corporate powers. Powers of LGU as corporation have powers similar to corporation, including succession, legal actions, property handling, contract making, and other powers granted by laws, subject to limitations. Requirements for contracts. Contracts need prior authorization by the Sanggunian and a legible copy must be posted publicly. Section 23. Authority to negotiate and secure grants. Negotiating financial grants or local chief executive under authorization can negotiate grants or donation for basic services without higher authority clearance, except for projects with national security implication. Section 24. Liability for damages. Liability of LGUs. LGUs officials are not exempt from liability from damages to persons or property. Section 25. National supervision over LGUs. President supervision. The President exercises general supervision over LGUs, ensuring acts are within their powers. National agency coordinate with and provide assistance to LGUs in project. Section 26. Duty of national government agencies. Ecological balance. National agencies planning projects causing ecological impacts must consult with local government units and other concerned sectors, explaining project goals, impacts, and measures to mitigate adverse effects. That's all, and thank you.
Section 27. Prior consultation required. Article 2. Relations with the Philippine National Police. Section 28. Powers of local chief executives over the units of the Philippine National Police. Article 3. Inter-local government relations. Section 29. Provincial relations with component cities and municipalities. Section 30. Review of executive orders. Section 31. Submission of municipal questions to the provincial legal officer or prosecutor. Section 32. City and municipal supervision over their respective barangays. Section 33. Cooperative Rate of peoples and non-governmental organization. Section 35. Linkages of peoples and non-governmental organization. Section 36. Assistance to peoples and non-governmental organization. Chapter 5. Local Pre-Qualification, Bids, and Awards Committee. Section 37. Local Qualifications, Bids, and Awards Committee or Local PIBA. Section 38. Local Technical Committee. Title 2. Elective Official. Section 39. Qualifications. An elective official must be a citizen of the Philippines, a registered voter in the barangay, municipality, city, or province. For sangguniang panglungsod, panlalawigan, or bayan, must be a resident therein at least 1 year. For governor, vice governor, mayor, or vice mayor, or member of sangguniang panglalawigan at highly urbanized cities, municipalities, must be at least 23 years of age. For mayor or vice mayor of independent component cities, municipalities must be at least 21 years of age. For sangguniang panglungsod or sangguniang bayan, must be at least 18 years of age. For punong barangay or sangguniang barangay, must be at least 18 years of age. For sangguniang kabataan, must be at least 15 years of age but not more than 21 years of age or
Hello everyone, I am Jamaica Abrasaldo and I will be going to report the Republic Act 7160, Section 4252. Section 40 of the Local Government Code of the Philippines lists disqualifications for elective local officials. It states that individuals who are sentenced to imprisonment for at least 1 year or found guilty of a crime involving moral turpitude are disqualified from holding office. For example, if a mayor is convicted of embezzlement and sentenced to 1 year in prison, they would be disqualification of serving in their elected position. Section 41, Manner of Election. Republic Act 7160, Section 41 outlines the manner of elections of local government officials in the Philippines. It specifies that local officials, including mayors and councilors, are elected through a secret ballot in every city, municipality, and barangay. For example, during a municipal election, voters cast their votes to choose their preferred mayor and councilors, ensuring a fair and democratic process. Section 42 sets the date of regulations, local elections in the Philippines. It mandates that these elections should be held on the second Monday of May every 3 years. For instance, if the law is in effect, a regular elections for mayors and councilors will occur on the second Monday of May every 3 years, ensuring a consistent electoral schedule. Section 42 defines the terms of office. The local government officials in the Philippines. Local elected officials such as mayors and councilors serve a 3-year term starting from noon of June 30 following their elections. If elected in a May election, their terms begin on June 30 of that year and last until June 30 3 years later. For example, a mayor A mayor elected in May 2023 will hold office until June 30, 2026. Section 44 addresses permanent vacancies in the positions of governor, vice governor, mayor, and vice mayor in the Philippines. In case of a permanent vacancy, the highest-ranking Sanggunian member will assume office until special elected is held. For example, if a mayor resigns, the vice mayor will take over as mayor until a special election is conducted to fill the vacancy. These provisions ensure continuity in local governance. Section 45 addresses permanent vacancies in Sanggunian. The local legislative body in the Philippines, in case of such vacancies, the remaining members will choose a replacement from the same political party. If the vacancy occurs in a sectoral representative seat, the sectoral organization will nominate a replacement. For example, if a councilor resigns, the other council members from the same party will select a new councilor, ensuring continued representation in the local legislative body. Section 46 addresses temporary vacancies in the office of the local chief executive in the Philippines, such as mayor or governor. When a temporary vacancy occurs due to illness, suspension, or other legitimate reasons, the vice mayor or vice governor assumes office as officer in charge. For example, if a mayor is temporarily unable to fulfill their duties, the vice mayor will act as the temporary head of the municipality until the mayor can resume their role. Section 47 deals with the approval of leaves of absence of local government officials in the Philippines. It requires the Sanggunian, the local legislative body, to grant leaves of absence to local officials, subject to specific conditions. For instance, in a municipal council needs to take a leave of absence due to a family emergency, the Sanggunian will review the request and grant the leave, provided it meets the required criteria and procedures outlined in the law. Section 48 defines the local legislative power of Sanggunians, local legislative bodies in the Philippines. It empowers them to enact ordinances, resolutions, and other local laws. These laws address various local concerns such as traffic regulations or zoning rules. For example, a municipal Sanggunian may pass an ordinance to regulate parking in town, specifying where and for how long vehicles can be parked within its jurisdiction. Section 49 Presiding Officer designates the presiding officers of the Sanggunian in the Philippines. These presiding officers is usually the vice mayor for cities and municipalities or the vice governor for provinces, who oversees the Sanggunian sessions and maintains order. For example, in municipality, the vice mayor serves as the presiding officer during Sanggunian session, ensuring that the meeting runs smoothly and adhering the parliamentary rules and procedures. Section 50 allows Sanggunians Section 50 Internal Rules of Procedure allows Sanggunians local government bodies in the Philippines to establish their Internal rules of procedure. These rules govern how meetings are conducted, how proposals are considered, and other operational aspects. For example, a municipal sanggunian can establish rules outlining the order of business, time limit for discussions, and voting procedures during their sessions. These internal rules help ensure the smooth and efficient functioning of the local legislative body. Section 51 mandates full disclosure of financial and business interests of sanggunian members in the Philippines. Elected officials are required to declare their financial holding and business interests, promoting transparency and preventing conflicts of interest. For example, if a council member owns a local construction company, they must disclose this interest to prevent potential bias when voting on matters related constructs under jurisdiction. Section 52 governs decisions of sanggunians in the Philippines. It stipulates that regular sessions are held at least once a week. Special sessions can also be called by the presiding officer or upon a writing request from a majority of the members. For example, if an urgent matter arises, the vice mayor of the municipality may call a special session of sanggunian to address the issue promptly. Thank you.
I'm the fifth reporter of this group. By the way, I'm Rowan Manyasa. I will be report the section 53 to 65. Section 53. Quorum requirements. Quorum must be present for any season and the presiding officer called the rule of established dealing with no rule. There's no quorum, the season can be adjourned or a recess is declared. Member can be compelled to attend with policies assistant if absent without justifiable. Section 54. Approval of ordinances. Local ordinances are presented to the local chief executive for approval. The chief of executive can sign or veto ordinance. A two-thirds vote by the sanggunian can override the veto. Section 55. Veto power. The local chief executive can veto ordinances or various grounds, but only one. Sanggunian can override the veto with a two-thirds vote. Section 56. Review of ordinances. Component city of municipal ordinances are reviewed by the Sanggunian Panlalawigan. Invalid ordinances are declared as such as, and if no action is taken, are deemed valid. Section 57. Review of the barangay. Ordinances, Sangguniang Panglungsod or Sangguniang Bayan reviews barangay. Ordinances is found inconsistent. The barangay is advised to amend the ordinance. 7. Enforcement of disapproved ordinances. Attempting to enforce disapproved ordinances can result in the suspension of dismissal officials. Section 58. Effectively, or ordinances take effective after specific posting period. Certain ordinances with final sanction must be published in the newspaper. Section 59. Disciplinary action. Elective local officials can face disciplinary action for various grounds such as disloyalty, dishonesty, or moral turpitude. Removal can be ordered by the court. Section 60. Filing of administrative complements. Complements are filed according to the level of the officials. Appeals can be made of the office of the President. Section 61. Notice of hearing. Respondents are given a chance to answer the complement investigation occur of the official place of the office. Section 62. Preventive suspicion. Preventive suspicion can be imposed under specific conditions. The duration of suspicion is limited. It cannot exceed 60 days for a single case. After the suspicion period, the official is reinstated while the case continues. Section 53. Abuse of preventive suspicion. Abuse of the power. Preventive suspicion and the penalize and abuse of authority. Section 64. Salary of respondent pending inspection. The respondent official preventively suspended from the office shall receive no salary or composition during such suspension, but upon subsequent exoneration of reinstatement, he shall be paid for salary compensation, including such emolument occurring during such suspension. Section 65. Rights respondent. The respondent shall be accorded full opportunity to appear and defend himself in person by counsel to confront and cross-examine the witness against him, and to require attendance of witness and the production of documentary evidence in
Section 66. Form a notice of decision. The investigation and the official be terminated within 2 weeks from the start thereof. Section 67. Administrative office. Position of initiated if case is made within 30 days from receipt thereof. We appeal the following the Sangguniang Panlalawigan in the case of decision of the Sangguniang Panglungsod of Book1 cities and the Sangguniang Bayan. Section 68. Section 68. Execution pending appeal. An appeal shall not prevent a decision from becoming final or executory. Section 69. By no exercise, the power of recall or loss of confidence shall be exercised by the registered voters for the local government unit to the local elected officials shall subject to such recall belongs. Section 70. Initiation of recall process. Recall may be initiated by preparatory recall assembly by the registered voters of the local government unit to which the local elected officials subject to such recall belongs. Section 71. Election and recall. Upon the filing of a valid resolution for petition for recall in the appropriate local office of the Commune, the Commission or duly authorized representative shall send the election and recall. Section 72. Effectivity of recall. The recall of an elected local official shall be effective only upon the election and confirmation of a successor to the person accountable receiving the highest number of votes cast during the election and recall. Section 78. Limitation from resignation. The elected local officials shall to recall shall not be allowed to resign while the recall process is in progress. Section 74. Limitation and recall. Any elected local official may be the subject of a recall election only once during his term of office for loss of confidence. Section 75. Expenses incident to recall elections. All expenses incident to recall elections shall be borne by the Commonwealth. For this purpose, there shall be included the annual general appropriations contingency fund under disposal of the Commonwealth for the conduct of recall elections. Section 76. Organizational structure and staffing pattern. Every local government unit shall design an entry this law. Rules and regulation and other related institutions says all matters pertinent to human resources units are governed by the civil service law, such as rules and regulations and
Section 79. Limitation of appointments. The limitation on appointments based on consanguinity or affinity has had a transformative impact on the local government of this municipality. Section 8. Public notice of vacancy personnel selection board. The provision of Section 80 serves as safeguard against unfair or biased personnel selection practices in local government. Section 81. Composition of local officials and employees. Section 81 provides a comprehensive framework for determining composition for local officials and employees. Section 82. Designation of elected local officials. Section 82 provides a comprehensive framework for registration of elected local officials, highlighting the specific authorities responsible for accepting this designation. Section 83. Grievance procedure. This procedure is designed to address and resolve complaints and grievance presented by local government employees. Section 84. Administrative discipline. Section 84. A local government regulation plays a vital role in upholding accountability and maintaining ethical standards among appointed local officials and employees. Section 85. Preventive suspension of appointed local officials and employees. Section 85 plays a crucial role in maintaining accountability and integrity within local government units. Section 86. Administration investigation. Section 86. Local government's regulation permits administrative investigation conducted by authorized individuals or community. Section 87. Disciplinary jurisdiction. Section 87 grants the chief executive the authority to discipline subordinate officials and employees with penalties, including legal demotions, suspensions without pay, cap to 1 year, fines cap to 6 months salary. Section 88. Execution pending trade. Section 88 verifies the filing of law does not have the enforcement of a removal or suspension discussed against respondent authority. Section 89. Prohibited business and national interest. Section 89 prohibits local government officials and employees from engaging in certain activities including business transactions with their local government units, holding interest in licensed games, purchasing property profited to the government contract, and using public property for private purposes. Section 90. Practice of possession. Section 90 of the law outlines rules for the private occupations by local government officials. Governors and mayors cannot practice their possessions, while council members can. While some limitations, doctors can practice during work hours in emergencies without monetary compensation. Section 90. Statement of assist and liability. Section 91 mandates officials and employees of local government units to submit certain statement disclosing their assist, liabilities, relatives in government service, financial interest, and personnel data as required by the law.
The Local Government Code of the Philippines, Section 92, Oath of Office, mandates all local official and employees to take an oath of office upon taking office, which must be filled with the local chief executive office and perceived in the individual personal record file of the concerned government unit. Section 93, Partisan Political Activity. Local civil service officers are prohibited from participating in partisan political activity or inciting political action, except for voting and supporting a specific politician, but not for soliciting donation. Section 94, Appointment of Elective and Appointive Local Officials. The law prohibits municipal authorities from holding public office or posts while in office, including government-owned business, and a year-long ban on election-related appointment for losers. Section 95. Additional or double compensation. The law prohibits municipal officials from accepting foreign government remuneration without a court order or Congress approval, including pension. Section 96. Permission to leave station. Local authorities must request approval from their chief executive for vacating position, considering urgency, budget, and public interest if traveling for more than 3 months or using public funds. The most informed their sanggunian. Section 97, Annual Report. Local chief executive must provide an annual report on economic, political, and peace situation to the sanggunian. Copies must be sent to component cities, municipalities, and the Department of Interior and Local Government. Local school board consists of mayor, superintendent, treasurer. School board consists of mayor, superintendent, treasurer, and education committee members with no delegation of tax. Section 98, Creation, Composition, and Compensation. The government established school board for province, cities, and municipalities with school board comprising governor, superintendent, chairman, treasurer, president, and provincial board members. Section 99, Function of Local School Board. The provincial, cities, or municipal school board determines annual supplemental financial need for public school using criteria from the Department of Education, Culture, and Sport. The board judges remaining school grants, treasurer permission, and advice on education issue. Section 100, Meeting and Quorum Budget. The local school board meet monthly to prepare the fiscal year budget, which prioritize extension classes, sports program, and facilities construction and maintenance, and requires approval from the majority of members. Section 101, Compensation and Remuneration. Local health board members, including governor, city mayor, and municipal mayor, make budget recommendation, act as advisory committees, and provide advice to local health organization. Section 102, Creation, Composition. The governor, city, and municipal mayor will serve as local health board members, advising on staff selection, advancement, advisory committees, and recommending annual budget. Section 103, Meetings and Quorum. The board must convene monthly or as needed with a quorum of majority members, and the chairman or vice chairman must be present for budgetary proposal.
Section 104, Compensation and Remuneration. This report discusses the compensation and remuneration policies for members of provincial, city, or municipal health boards. As outlined in Section 104 of the relevant legislation, according to this section, the chairman, vice chairman, and members of this board are expected to fulfill their duties without compensation. Section 105. Direct national supervision and control by the Secretary of Health. A legal provision granting the Secretary of Health the authority to assume direct supervision and health control over health operations in local government units during public health emergencies. This power, given under the direction of the President and in consultation with local authorities, enables the unified and coordinated response. The provision has a maximum duration of 6 months. Section 106. Local Development Councils. The importance of comprehensive multi-sector development plans mandated by Section 106 of Local Government Legislation. Local development councils at different levels are crucial in initiating and coordinating development efforts. They conduct needs assessments, plan, coordinate, mobilize resources, monitor projects, and engage the community participation. Section 107. Composition of Local Development Councils. This report explores the critical role of local development councils in enhancing community participation and governance at different levels of local administrations. It outlines the diverse composition of LDCs, including members of local governments, representatives from non-governmental organizations, and congressional delegates. Section 108. Representation of non-governmental organizations. It explains the internal selection process conducted by national government organizations to choose their representatives within 60 days of LDC organization. The report underscores the responsibility of local sanggunians in accrediting national government organization based on specific criteria defined by law. Section 109. Functions of Local Development Councils. LDCs operating at various levels are responsible for formulating comprehensive development plans and policies, developing public investment programs, and appraising and prioritizing development initiatives. They also promote investment and private capital inflow, ensuring economic growth. Section 110. Meetings and quorum. This report discussed the significance of regular meetings for local development councils. As mandated by Section 110, these meetings, held at least once every 6 months, promote continuous communication and collaboration among stakeholders, fostering a cohesive approach to community development. Section 111. Executive Committee. These committees found at provincial, city, or municipal, and barangay levels are responsible for policy formulation, resource allocation, project oversight, and community engagement. Comprising governmental and non-governmental representatives, these committees ensure the effective governance and local development. Section 112. Sectoral or functional committees. These committees enhance decision-making,
policy formulation, and resource allocation, promoting holistic development in sectors like education, healthcare, and agriculture. Despite challenges, strengthening these committees is crucial for sustainable and inclusive community growth. Section 113, Secretariat. This section establishes a secretariat for each local development council, tasked with providing technical support, documenting proceedings, preparing reports, and offering necessary assistance. The council can engage non-governmental organizations or educational research institutions to fulfill these responsibilities, promoting efficient functioning and collaboration between local government bodies and external entities. Section 114. Relation of local development councils to the Sanggunian and the Regional Development Council. This report highlights local development councils' key role, proposing local policies and projects approved by Sanggunians integrated into regional plans by regional development councils, and aligned with national goals by the National Economic and Development Authority. Section 115. Budget Information. This information enables LDCs to make informed decisions, align projects, and focus on community-centric initiatives. Transparent resources allocation fosters fiscal responsibility and enhances the effectiveness of local development efforts, promoting sustainable community growth.
Title 8, Autonomous Special Economic Zone. Section 117, Establishment of Autonomous Special Economic Zones. The establishment by law of autonomous special economic zones in selected areas of the country shall be subject to concurrence by the local government units including therein. Title 9. Other provisions applicable to local government units. Chapter 1. Settlement of boundary disputes. Section 118. Jurisdictional responsibility for settlement of boundary disputes. Boundary disputes between and among local government units shall, as much as possible, be settled amicably to this end. Boundary disputes involving two or more barangays in the same city or municipality shall be referred for settlement to the Sangguniang Panglungsod o Sangguniang Bayan concerned. Boundary disputes involving two or more municipalities within the same province shall be referred for settlement to Sangguniang Panlalawigan concerned. Boundary disputes involving municipalities or component cities of different province shall be jointly referred for settlement to the Sanggunians of the province concerned. Section 19. Any party may elevate the decision of the Sanggunian concerns to the proper regional trial court having jurisdiction over the area in dispute. The regional trial court shall decide the appeal within 1 year from the filing thereof, pending final resolution of the disputed area prior to the dispute shall be maintained and continued for all legal purpose. Chapter 2, Local Initiative and Referendum. Section 120, Local Initiative defined. Local initiative is the legal process whereby the registered voters of a local government unit may directly propose, enact, or amend any ordinance. Section 121. Whom may exercise the power of local initiative and referendum may be exercised by all registered voters of the provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays. Section 122. Procedure in local initiative. Not less than 1,000 registered voters in case of provinces and cities, 100 in case municipalities, and 50 in case of barangays may file a petition with the Sangguniang concerned proposing the adoption, enactment, repeal, or amendment of an ordinance. If no favorable action thereon is taken by the Sangguniang concerned within 30 days from its presentation, the proponent, through their July authorities and registered representatives, may invoke their power of initiative giving notice, therefore, to the Sangguniang concerned. Section 123. Effectivity of local propositions. If the proposition is approved by a majority of the votes cast, it shall take effect 15 days after certification by the COMELEC as if affirmative action thereon had been made by the Sangguniang and local chief executive concerned. If it fails to obtain said number of votes, the proposition is considered defeated. Section 124. Limitations on local initiatives. The power of local initiative shall not be exercised more than once a year. Initiative shall extend only to subjects or matters which are within the legal powers of the Sangguniang to enact. If at any time before the initiative is held, the Sangguniang concerned adopt into the proposition presented and the local chief executive approve the same, the initiative shall be cancelled. However, those against such action may, if they so decide, apply for initiative in the matter herein provided. Section 125. Limitations upon Sanggunians. Any proposition or ordinance approved through the system of initiative and referendum as herein provided shall not be repealed, modified, or amended by the Sangguniang concerned with 6 months from the date of the approval whereof, and may be amended, modified, or repealed by the Sangguniang within 3 years thereafter by a vote of 3 or 4 of all its members, provided that in case of barangays the period shall be 18. Section 126. Local referendum defined. Local referendum is the legal process whereby the registered voters of the local government units may approve, amend, or reject an ordinance enacted by the Sanggunian. The local referendum shall be held under the control and direction of the Comelec within 60 days in case of province and cities, 45 days in case of municipalities, and 30 days in case of barangay. The Comelec shall certify and proclaim the result of the referendum. Section 127. Authority of Court. Nothing in this chapter shall prevent or preclude the proper court from declaring null and void any proposition approved pursuant to this chapter for violation of the Constitution of want of capability of the Sanggunians concerned to enact the said measure.